Hello guys, welcome to a new video. And in this new video, we are going to go over the Identity Access Management lab. So we are going to do a lab on this Identity Access Management. And before we can do that, I want to create a couple of buckets, and then we are going to create some users, and we're going to assign permissions to those buckets. So let's go ahead and create that. First bucket, remember that it needs to be a globally unique name. So let's go ahead and do ccdgt.com. That should be a good name. Next, next, create. There we go. We're going to create another one, ccdgt.com, two buckets, and we can just click on create over here. There we go. So now we have created these two buckets over here. And what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go into services and we want to create some users and assign those users to a couple groups. So the first one is going to be um, an S3 admin, right? And this is going to be for the AWS Management Console access. It is not going to be for programmatic access. So it's not going to be an API or CLI or SDK. And we're going to create a custom password over here. And we're not going to change the password, so we don't want to go through all this trouble. We're going to click next. Since we do not have a group yet, what we going to do is we're just going to click on next for the tags. And over here for the tags, you can just want to do S3 team, S3 team. This is just if you want to identify that user. And when you add a tag, what happened is that if you want to report and then you want to see how many users belong to those teams, you can run a report and you can see that by the tag name. Review, the user has no permission, that's fine. Create user. Nope, we have created that user. Let's go ahead and close this. And now let's go ahead and create a group. And in this group, we are going to say S3 admin team. That's what we're going to call it. Next step. The next step is to create or to attach a policy to it. You don't have to. Um, what you could do is you can first create your policy and then attach it to a group. But since we're just going to do an S3, we can just do an S3 full access. We can select that. Next step, review, create group. Okay, so now since the user is not assigned to any groups, what we can do is we just go to the group um, tab right here, and we're going to go to action, and we're going to add users to this group, and we're going to add the only user that is in here. And there it is. You can see that we have one user, which is the S3 admin, and you can go ahead and remove it from this group if you want to. Let's go ahead and create another user, and this one is going to be um, a read-only user, and it's going to be an AWS management console access. We are going to add our own password. Um, we are now going to user must create a new password to sign in. We don't need to do that. Um, we are not going to add it to any team, so you guys can see we're not going to add any tags either. Create a user, close it. So as you can see, we have two users, and there's one that belongs to the S3 admin team. And in this S3 admin team, you are going to have full access to the S3 buckets that we just created. And now if we go to, we are in here in the users, let's go ahead into the dashboard. And this is how you are able to log into that account, right? So let's go ahead and, or this is how you're able to log in using those identity access management users. So you want to go ahead and copy this, paste it over here. And the one that we're going to be using, um, uh, did I do the, was it S3 I believe it was S3 admin that we created. Let's go ahead and put that password. Sign in, don't save it. And as you can see, we have a limited access to what we can do here. And since I only allow or gave them access to S3, they're only going to be able to access S3. If you go to EC2, you can see that there's nothing there, or EC2 over here. You can see that they don't have access to they have access to launch an instance. You can see that they don't have access to that because they only have access to S3. So if we go to services and we go to S3, you can see that the user is able to get into those buckets. And if they want to, they can even delete those buckets. There we go. Let's do ccdgt.com. There we go. So that user that we log into, which is the S3 admin, he's able to create buckets, delete buckets, and do anything in buckets because we assign that user to the bucket admin or the S3 admin group, so they're able to manage anything inside S3 and only do it in S3. Okay, so the next one that I want to do is I want to go ahead and log in with the other user. Let's go ahead. If we go back to here, and let's go ahead and log in with read only username. And in this read only username, it was not assigned to anything. So as you can see, when he went to the buckets, you can see that there is an error, and they cannot see any buckets. They cannot even are they able to create buckets here. They shouldn't. Let me see, create. You can see access denied because they don't have access to anything. And since they don't have access to anything, what Amazon does is that it has an implicit deny. So if you do not have access to any groups or any permission, then there's an implicit deny. So you won't able to do anything in this account because it doesn't have access to anything. Okay, so that's how the identity access management works. That's how you can create a group, a username, and assign that username to a group, and also policies and assign those policies to the group. So then that user is able to manage or to have access to different AWS services. So I know it was a short lab, but on another lab, we are going to go more in depth in the identity access management service, and we're going to create more users and more groups, so you guys can see how it actually works or how all the advanced features work. So this is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.